And welcome in to the Backstage Pass here for a Hump Day Wednesday as we get ever so closer and closer to CRS, which is Country Radio Seminar. Countdown is on, I guess, less than 3 weeks now, getting there February 21st for the event to take place the 23rd to 25th at the Omni Hotel in Nashville, Tennessee. A great lineup of guests. I just keep adding to it. I got off the phone with some people today. It's going to be pretty massive, and just some names that I can throw out there. Grammy Award winner John Barry. The group Exile is going to be with us. Looking forward to talking about Marlon Hargis and that great Hall of Fame country music band. And, of course, the artist Craig Campbell. A lot of people know Craig Campbell. He's going to hang out with us. Jesse G, Dallas Remington. The names go on and on, so looking forward to that. Coming up here in a few weeks, CRS 2022. First time it's been back in person, I think, for about 2 years. So looking forward to that. Also, February 10th, John Michael Montgomery is going to stop by here with us, and just some great shows coming up here on the Backstage Pass. We're always presented by our good friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and, of course, MitchMax.com and Hank Jr. Production. And pleased to welcome in a young lady who's been doing this for a while, and I found is a great songwriter and a great singer, and what she's putting out there, I'm buying, no doubt about it, as they say in the sports world. Sarah Harralson joins us here on the program. Sarah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Brandon?
We're hanging in there, just counting it down and getting busy. I think after CRS, I'll be able to breathe a little bit. But I love your story. Tell me about this, because from Knoxville and writing songs when you were 10. I think when I was 10, I was going outside swinging a bat and hitting rocks and playing with and stuff like that too. So definitely you're more talented than I am. But that authenticity and, the bluegrass musician you had as your grandfather was a huge influence. Take me back to the story and kind of take me on this ride of becoming a musician.
Yeah, so growing up, I was always around music. Like you said, my granddad played bluegrass music. He played accordion in a lot of bluegrass bands. So I was always around him playing his accordion, playing bluegrass music. And my mom would always listen to like classic rock and oldies. My dad would listen to country. So I was around all sorts of genres of music. But yeah, when I was younger, I was a very quiet child. My siblings are much older than me, so they were already out of the house. So a great way for me to express my feelings at a young age was to write songs and put words to music. So that was definitely like a therapeutic way I found of expressing my emotions. And then my mom encouraged me to take piano lessons when I was around 14. Then I taught myself guitar in high school. So I was definitely around a family household that encouraged me to pursue music.
What's great about it too is, like you said, just the family presence of it. And then you have this other side of it, what I love, because the aspect of country drawing you to the industry too at the same time, but the storytelling aspect of it is really cool, because you listen to songs today, even songs that you put out and other artists we've had here on the program. It's amazing how they tell a little bit of their story and then a little bit of somebody else's story to connect with their audience. What is it about the storytelling aspect of it that you enjoy the most?
Yeah, I think I was drawn to country music the most, country and folk music, because it really is all about the storytelling in that genre. And it's definitely a case where, yeah, a lot of the songs want to be about your own stories, your own experiences, but also like stories that are relatable and universal to other people. And that's what I try to incorporate in my own music. Like I have my own experiences and stories, so I'll put details of that here and there, but I also like to make these stories relatable, so where someone's listening and they can say, oh yeah, I've been through that kind of situation before, I can relate to that. So I love the storytelling aspect the most in music, because it's relatable and you feel like someone's on your side, someone's been through the same stuff you've been through before.
Now tell me about this, because it's always cool to get discovered. You moved to Nashville, chased that dream, pursuing music in Belmont, and of course, discovered by a guy that people know out there with drummer, Shooter Jennings, Scotty Schultz. Tell me that story. Was the move scary? When you got there, was it kind of like, and of course, that people say, I'm going to experience it in a few weeks, it's always like deer in the headlights, because there's every spotlight, every neon sign on every corner, and of course, getting the lay of the land. Take me through that experience.
Yeah. So when I was graduating high school, I knew I wanted to pursue music somewhere. out of college. And of course, I toured Belmont, fell in love with it and their music program. So I was like, I have to go here. And so moving there was a little scary, but since I'm from Knoxville, it wasn't too far away. But the scariest thing was realizing how talented people are in this town compared to, your hometown. So I'm like, damn, I have to compete with all of these other people. And my first performance here in Nashville was scarier than any performance I had in the past, because I realized that I had to boost my level up to match these other people that are already extremely talented in this town. So yeah, it was a scary adjustment, but it taught me a lot, and it taught me how to own my craft and get better at my skills. And yeah, and then shortly after that, a couple years later, when I was a little bit better at my craft, I heard about Scotty Schultz, drummer for Shooter Jennings, and he was opening his own publishing company and studio at the time. So I pitched him my song "Watered Down Whiskey," and he really liked it. We had a meeting, and I signed a 3-song publishing deal with him. So he produced "Watered Down Whiskey," a couple other songs, pitched it through his company, and then I recorded my second EP, "Watered Down Whiskey," with him.
I love that too. The music's great, and I love that the other album you put out, the young lady we were talking about before the show, Christine Bauer, album called "West of Me," which is out there at all the digital platforms, came out in 2019. Tell me about that. Great project. She's a great artist in her own right too, and we'd love to have her here on the show for a future date. But a couple songs that kind of struck my attention we were talking about a little bit before the show. Of course, the title track, "Sick Day," "Chills," and then "Good Habits." But the whole thing just had a really great country vibe and a good feel, and I think a lot of cool music that people can definitely connect with.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been writing with Christine since I guess probably around 2015. And I met her through NSAI, the Songwriters Association, and she actually lives in Nebraska. So a lot of our writes have been virtual. Sometimes she comes down here to Nashville to write in person and play shows. And to this day, we still write virtually, but around 2019 or probably 2018, we had a great collection of songs that we have already written. And I said, you know what, we should do something with these songs, because I like everything we've written together. So we decided to do a collaborative album together of 10 songs that were some of our favorites that we have co-written together. And I started doing a lot of my own producing at the time. I minored in production at Belmont, so production is also something I love and fell in love with doing. So I co-produced "West of Me" with a friend. And that was cool. That was a cool experience because I really got to put my own flavor in the tracks, my own direction, and it just made it easier for trying to accomplish recording 10 tracks in a short amount of time.
That's a great album too. If you haven't checked that out, like I said, tell my viewers, go grab it, and of course, listeners too at the same time. Get a piece of it or get the whole thing out there too, whatever your streaming service is. The current single I really dug too, keeping that theme of whiskey in it. The Whiskey History came out January 14th out there across all the platforms. Let's have you, let's play one here. We'll come back and talk about it. And that's, of course, a good place to start right there if you want to start with Whiskey History. Yep.
Yeah, I would love to. Yep. Please go check it out if you haven't heard it already.
Tell people all the Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you can stream and download your music. Go check it out.
Yes.
It's all yours.
There's nothing quite as cold as the neon when the crowd's gone and that last drink starts to fade. You found me in the smoke when I was so lost, and I was way off on what I thought you were gonna say. You asked me if I came here alone. All you wanted was the chance to walk me home from that downtown rodeo. Strangers' arms and swinging doors. Used to let old Jim Beam run the show till my head and heart were sore. Now my reckless days are done, 'cause every night you're with me. Here's to one more kiss, making me forget my whiskey history. Now I wake up every morning in your arms, and it's a good start for a lifetime to remember. That's living, breathing proof that you're the good stuff. Yeah, the best buzz, you know, the kind that lasts forever. I've done that downtown rodeo, strangers' arms and swinging doors. Used to let old Jim Beam run the show till my head and heart were sore. Now my reckless days are done, 'cause every night you're with me. Here's to one more kiss, making me forget my whiskey history. Ain't hard to leave my stomping grounds alone when you're the one I get to call home. Now my reckless days are done, 'cause every night you're with me. Here's to one more kiss, making me forget my whiskey history. Yeah, all that's whiskey history.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-hosts Kirsty Krause, Jeff McMahon, and Karen Lee Batten as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. You know, if I had one of those little applause things, like I would just like have that thing go off with the crowd noise now. That
There you go.
I love
Pumping
that
it.
song, and definitely one of the reasons we had to have you here on the show. Whiskey history is out there. Sarah Harralson again joining us here again, presented by our good friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, and again MitchMax.com, and of course Hank Jr. Productions. Appreciate all our sponsors do out there to keep us going every day here from Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6:30, no doubt. Yeah, but I love that song, and I think that one of the best things was it just really connected with me. I think we've all had a little bit of that whiskey history, and I'm sponsored by a whiskey brand, so it definitely fit. So
Yeah, and usually in country, you have a lot of the songs that are about drinking and partying and having fun. And when whiskey's incorporated, it's always about partying. But yeah, this is definitely unique because it's kind of about getting away from that.
tell me how this came together. Was this kind of an easy song that just kind of came out and just was easy to write, a co-write type thing, and the idea behind it?
So I've had the idea for the title Whiskey History, like in my notes on my phone for a while. I liked the title. I just didn't know what to do with it. And I was writing this with my co-writer, Bill DeLuigi, one night. And I said, I like this title. I just don't know like how to spin it. And he kind of came up with the concept of like, well, what if it's about forgetting all of your mistakes in the past and you meet someone who just makes your life have more purpose and you want to move forward. And that kind of really stuck with me, especially it's relatable for me for the place I'm at in life right now. So I loved taking it with that direction. And then once we figured out that we wanted to roll with that concept, the lyrics came out pretty easily.
I love it too. I love the beautiful playing of the guitar, and your vocals just, I mean, spot on with that particular track, no doubt. I know you've done some holiday music, and one I got to check out too through everything this past year, especially this Christmas when we got to travel and kind of be with family for the first time in a while. Frosty came out. I added it to my playlist, and I thought that was a really cool spin you put on that. Of course, you've done some really cool Christmas music out there. Tell people about just the holiday feel. It only comes around once a year, and I'm hearing more and more artists really want to do either their own cut of Christmas music or a cover.
Yeah, definitely lately I've been wanting to write more of my own original holiday songs. And Frosty I wrote with Christine Bauer. And obviously once you hear it, it's not really what you expect. You expect like a happy holiday, cheerful Christmas song. And Frosty is about this cold-hearted woman. So it's not really something you would expect to hear during the holidays, but it definitely has that like Christmas kind of melody. So I just thought it would be kind of like a funny spin on the title. And actually, when I had the guy who was playing piano on the track come to do keys, he thought he was playing Frosty the Snowman at first because he just saw Frosty. And I was like, just wait, it's the complete opposite of that.
That's what I thought too when I first heard it too. I said, this is a little bit different. It's not. When I heard the title, I said, this is probably not Frosty the Snowman. And you listen to it, you're like, yeah, that's completely different. But you put a good spin on it. I like what you did there. I know another one that was pretty cool. I know you got to co-write Johnny Garcia. People know Johnny for being in town there. Of course, Garth Brooks, the lead guitar player. Tell me about Radio Static and kind of where that was on an EP, if I'm not mistaken. And you guys had a lot of fun with that one, right?
Yeah, so Radio Static was actually on the Watered Down Whiskey EP that Scotty Schultz produced for me. And yeah, so I wrote that song with Johnny and a couple other guys. And my friend Justin around that time was saying he was going to write with this guy named Johnny on the Row, asked me if I wanted to come. I said, sure, I would love to. And so we get to his publishing house on the Row at the time. And knocked on the door. Johnny answers the door, and his first sentence to me was, "Oh, I thought a different Sarah was coming to write tonight." And I'm like, "Oh, this is going good already." Yeah. And then he's like, it's okay. Come in, have a beer, and let's all write." So we wrote Radio Static that night. And then I was having Scotty produce it for the Watered Down Whiskey EP. And I hadn't seen or heard from Johnny since that write. And I was at an event on the Row probably like a year later at BMI. And I actually ran into him there. And I said, "Oh, hey, Radio Static, the song we wrote, is actually going on my EP. And Johnny said, well, if you haven't tracked guitar for it yet, I would love to play guitar on it. And I said, oh, yes, please. I would love to have you play guitar on it. So he sent in the guitar files and Scotty put his guitar on the track. And then just from there, Johnny and I kind of developed a writing relationship, and he helped me craft some better songs. And I was in a place when I met him where I was, putting out my own music, but I wasn't sure if I would be able to compete as an artist in this town. I knew like I could do songwriting, but I was like, oh, there's so many talented artists here. So he had me play one of his showcases a few years back. And after we got done, he basically gave me great advice and told me that if I don't go for an artist career, I'm making a huge mistake. And it really stuck with me, him saying that, because music is so subjective. But when you hear someone, of who has so much success in the music industry that really believes in you and tells you you should go for it, and they're not just being nice by saying it, you really take it to heart. And I thought, gosh, why am I so busy comparing myself to others? And I have all of this fear built up in my head that probably doesn't even exist because I'm comparing myself to other people. So why can't I just figure out what my own identity is, my own brand, and just roll with that? And, that'll take me where I need to go. So he's been a really great mentor for me in music, and produced some of my singles like Put a Rock on This Rolling Stone and The Chance, and Get Lost in Some Rock and Roll. So I've really enjoyed working with him.
Yeah, it's kind of where I was going next. Another fantastic guy who definitely tells you to go for it, believe in your dreams, would make a fantastic artist. And you'd be, like I said, remiss if you didn't do that. And definitely I echo those sentiments. And that was one reason I had to have you here on the program, just how super talented you are, no doubt. Tell me about that, because 2020, obviously changed the game for this industry, for a lot of people and a lot of different artists, and they reinvent themselves and do some streaming and, of course, more writing or picking up an instrument they may not have picked up in several years, or spending more time with the family while still kind of keeping music right there close to them. You actually stayed busy with Put a Rock on This Rolling Stone and Get Lost in Some Rock and Roll. And of course, we mentioned Frosty, The Chance. Talk about some of those songs with The Chance, and of course the Put a Rock in This Rolling Stone, Get Lost in Some Rock and Roll. Different feel, but still great songs you got a chance to put out. Were those kind of easy? And I guess did they come to life pretty easy?
Yeah, I think with Put a Rock in This Rolling Stone, like that came to life pretty easy. I think the concept of that song Johnny came up with, but even recording, we got a feel for it pretty easy. And that was actually, the song was actually done like 1 week before COVID hit and everyone was in lockdown. So I was so excited for the song being done and like had all these plans for it. And then COVID happened, and it's like, well, I can't really do a photo shoot for it right now. I can't really do a music video or anything. So I guess I just need to think about what I want to do with this. And then of course it got a little better in that summer. So I was able to do a photo shoot and music video with just myself in it. And I released that in June of 2020. And that was, you could kind of tell like it makes sense for that song to come first, just because I was at a younger age. So it was more about, having being a free spirit, but you're willing to settle down if you find the right person. And then some of the songs that came after that, like The Chance, I wrote a little bit later. I wrote that also with Bill DeLuigi, who I wrote Whiskey History with. And that song, similar situation. I had that idea in the works for a while. I just had this title in my phone that says, "Some people never get the chance." And I knew it could be like a really great idea to write, but I just wanted to do it justice. I didn't want to write to the title and it just be okay. So I felt after a little bit after COVID. That was, so I guess last year is when I wrote it with Bill. But I felt like I appreciated things more, so I knew what to write about to the title. So I told him, I was like, here's my idea, and I want it to be about people taking for granted our ability to do things in life, but making it like a positive spin. And I'm glad I waited to write to that title, because I think people might appreciate it more now that we've been through a lot more. And maybe my hopes for people when they hear it is to say, yeah, I don't want to take for granted this life and what I'm capable of doing. I'm going to go out there and deal with every chance that I get, and be grateful for every chance that I get in this life.
That's why that one really connected with me, because I think about that story. Like, if I hadn't have done this 3 years ago, where would I be now? Would I still be missing something like this in my life? Was that void to fill? Right. And you're right. And now it's leading us to Music City, and I'm like just gonna soak it up and have a good time here in a few weeks, which is pretty cool. That you can, just like yourself, you can see something come out of nowhere and just really believe in what you do and the chance. That's why I think people need to go get that particular song. If you haven't already, because it may change your life if you're thinking about doing something that you've put on the back burner for a long time, and you're like, wonder if I should do this. Well, quit thinking, just go do it. And that's what the song is really resonating with me. Let's do another one here on the show, and let's play another one. I know you got a hand selection of catalog music you could pick. That's a favorite of mine. Again, the single out there is Whiskey History across all the digital platforms, and yeah, just all kind of great music out there. We'll come back. We've still got Rapid Fire and a whole lot more with Sarah Harralson here on the Backstage Pass. Sarah, it's all yours, and yeah, I'll take it away.
All right, thank you. I'm going to put a rock on this Rolling Stone.
There
next.
We go. I love it. Here we go.
Young and restless, all about the chase. Never had a tie to anyone or any place. Too much Jameson, too many Marlboro Lights. Always find them for wrong love every night. I'm ready for you, I'm ready for you. Put a rock on this Rolling Stone. Slow me down and take me home, 'cause you've got a hold on me. If you wanna tame this gypsy soul, take me away from the neon smoke. Baby, won't you put a rock on this Rolling Stone? I see an open road, you got a Trans Am. Baby, if your soul lets you go right against the wind, chase those headlights, no need to hit the brakes. If you wanna settle down, I won't hesitate. Put a rock on this Rolling Stone. Slow me down and take me home, 'cause you got a hold on me. If you wanna tame this gypsy soul, take me away from the
Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-hosts Kirsty Krause, Jeff McMahon, and Karen Lee Batten as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. That's where you can find us every day, Monday through Friday, 3:30 to 6:30 on the Backstage Pass here. Of course, growing every day. Arguably right before my eyes. Sarah Harralson here, joining us, presented by our good friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and MitchMax.com for official Backstage Pass swag. We appreciate people. Good month in December, no doubt, getting this logo and putting t-shirts, hoodies, and I never thought I'd have my own coffee mug, Sarah, but it's pretty cool to have that now too as well. Big old coffee mug or stuff in there too at the same time. And, of course, our good friends at Hank Jr. Productions. A lot of cool stuff he's doing out there. Good buddy, Henry Herrera. And I tell people to check you out, sarahharrelson.com, and, of course, everywhere she's got music, man, because you're going to find something to your liking out there. And that song, beautifully done by you. You know, I tell you, one of the cool things, and I can't wait to get to the city to experience it here in a few weeks, one of the cool things I hear from artists all the time is getting to open for those, like you mentioned earlier in the show, those people that have done it. They've had that long track record in the industry. One of the people you've opened for is actually a good friend of the show and a good friend of mine. He actually did a liner for me one time, and he said I was drinking. I really wasn't, too, but the interview was still good. But it's a joke out there. He knows what I'm talking about. Bucky Covington, you've got to open for him. And, of course, the likes of Aaron Tippin and many others go on tour. What's that experience like? Because I'll never know what that experience is like. I mean, as a patron, I can attend the show and, of course, enjoy it. But sitting up there on stage and I guess the audience reacting to you and, of course, people like that who have gone on to have very successful careers in the business like Bucky and Aaron. What's that like for you when you get a chance to do that?
It was great. For both of them, 2 different times. Mm-hmm. It was for a festival and opening up for them in Putnam County, which is about an hour and a half from Nashville. And it was a very cool experience because with festivals, there's just a really fun vibe and a lot of people there. And the bass player had a bus for the first one with where Bucky was headlining. So got to hang out on his bus for some of the day before the show. And it was an absolute awesome experience. The only thing, which is funny when you know you're the opener, is you get less time for sound check. So we had to wait until Bucky and the other artists were done sound checking before we were allowed to go sound check. So pretty much all day we were kind of waiting until we could go sound check. And I think Bucky, he took a long time. He wants to make sure everything sounds great. And another thing I didn't know is he has a twin brother who's his drummer.
Did not know that. I did not.
Yeah, at least at the time. And so I kept seeing him walk around all these different places at once. I'm like, how did you get here? You were just over there. And then I realized he has a twin brother that was walking around too. But yeah, they were running really late on sound check. So by the time me and the band got to go up to sound check, it was when they had already started opening the gates. So we were in our bus clothes on stage doing sound check when people started coming in. And then we had to quickly go get dressed because in 30 minutes, then we had to go on. So it's definitely a different experience when you're the opener, but it's also a very cool experience being on a bigger stage and being able to open for great artists.
Well, super talented, no doubt. I know you've done some things. I mean, Old Dominion's been hot out there the past few years, winning every ACM award they could put on the mantle, act there too with the trophies they've gotten for the awards, and just some cool experiences. And I hope to see you out there in Tennessee, one of these days, because I'm hoping we get there at least annually for CRS. You never know, but also maybe do a little CMA appearance there too as well coming up in June. So I'd love to catch you on the road out there and go to a Sarah Harralson show, no doubt about it. I think this is really cool too, because a lot of musicians are able to give back and do things they love to do for charities or do things for hospitals, things like that. You're what they call the on-call musician. You've done this, I know, once a month, things that do things for musicians on call, just helping people find music and mostly in a positive way to do that as a volunteer musician once a month. Are you still doing that? And tell me about that experience.
Yes, I am still doing it. Since COVID started, it's been all virtual. So for the past 2 years, we perform virtually, and a lot of the children's hospital across the nation have like TVs where they can live stream. So they'll set up like the Zoom in their studio and then live stream it to all of the TVs. So it's been great in the sense where we can reach a ton of hospitals at once doing it virtually. But I definitely miss being able to be in person in the hospitals and having that one-on-one connection with the patients in the room. So I can't wait to get back in person. But yeah, I've been volunteering with them since 2015, and it's just been an amazing experience because you realize that these are the people who need music the most. And through volunteering with them, I've just kind of found out that my own mission as an artist and what I want to do is definitely to help or heal others with my music, whether that's, making them be in a good mood for the day or having them connect to a song emotionally. So it's been great because it's been rewarding for me, and I've been able to figure out who I am as an artist. But it's so awesome giving back to these people who really appreciate music.
I love it. I think it's a great endeavor you're doing out there for people that need the healing power of music and need to hear some positivity out of it too. And I'll admit too, I tell people all the time, you can find songs every day to make you feel something, and in a lot of ways that make you think about family and life and just your current status in a lot of different ways, no doubt. So I commend you for doing working organization like that, and of course helping children feel something. It almost reminds me too a little bit. Music can be connected to how service animals or pets can come into hospitals to make children feel better. Just the ambiance or just kind of the setting of what's there and the feel, the emotion they give off too at the same time. And I love the fact that you guys are able to do that, no doubt. So Whiskey History is out there across all the digital platforms. Make sure you go check that out. All right, so you're going to be playing this rapid fire thing for the first time. And
okay,
cool thing is, we love to have fun with it. So no right or wrong answers. And I promise no SAT questions, nothing like that coming at you on the show. All right. So I love this one. A lot of people are either game show fans or they're not. But if Sarah Harralson could participate in a game show that's either currently out there or one of the older ones from, I guess, the 90s or something like that, in any show you could pick, what game show would you want to be on?
Probably Jeopardy.
That's not one of our popular answers. You're good with trivia, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I feel like I would do very poorly, but yeah, I don't know. That's always been one of my favorite game shows, so I guess people could see me flop on it.
I like that. Well, you may surprise yourself and do well depending upon who the host is too. It may become a State Farm commercial with Aaron Rodgers. You just never know out there too. At the same time, maybe he's going to go host Jeopardy in his post-football career. It has still to be determined. All right, let's do this. Favorite food, either to cook or take out, and I guess to add to it, favorite beverage when you get a chance to wind up or wind down.
I love Mexican food. Cooking it at home, like making taco salads or just going out to a good Mexican restaurant. Favorite beverage is definitely a whiskey ginger. So
there you go, right there. See, I got to get you some of that Bangtail whiskey when I get up to Tennessee. Let you get a feel of that 90 proof handcrafted whiskey right there out of Orlando, Florida. You'd love it. I mixed it with everything I could have in the pantry and then some. And I've not found one thing that makes that thing taste bad yet. It tastes really good. So I can tell you, I'm going to have some tonight because the allergies and the throat stuff is coming back with this time of season because the weather can never figure out what it's going to do down here in Texas. One day hot, one day cold. And it's just, not a good forecast down here for us. I'm ready for summertime. People say, would you rather the heat or the cold? And I'm kind of the person that I'll take 102 over 32 any day.
Me too. I'm definitely the same way.
So that's just the way Texas weather could get down here with a heat index of 105 or 110. But I'm not a cold weather person here. All right, so let's stay with the food category. And if Sarah's ordering a pizza just for Sarah, nobody else can have a slice. What goes on it?
Pepperoni and mushrooms are always my go-to.
A lot of people's go-to. Now, I have a pizza challenge when I get up to Nashville here in a few weeks, and I forget who told me about this challenge. They want to see me do pineapple and sausage, and I'm kind of like, pineapple on, so if I'm going to do it, but they may tape me in one of the pizza places. By the way, where should I go in Nashville for pizza? What would be your recommendation?
Oh, first of all, I do pineapple and ham over.
Okay, I could do that probably.
Definitely 5 Points Pizza. You usually have to wait in a line, but you got to get a slice there. I'm trying to think. There's always some like really good like hole in the wall spots. Like there's this place in Arcade Alley. I think it's called like Manny's House of Pizza, and he owns a pizza shop, and his brother owns a pizza shop in East Nashville, and both of them always have like a line out the door for their pizza. So
I'll check that out and see which one is going to be good there with pizza. Of course, I make it off the plane and go right to the pizza when I first get there. That's my favorite.
There you go.
Favorite food right there, no doubt. All right, let's do this one. Is there a bucket list venue to perform at, or, and I guess kind of part two, that would be not just to perform, but would you like to go to a place you're like, man, where's my bucket list vacation? If I didn't have to perform, I would go here just for leisure. Where would you go?
Yeah, so for performing, definitely the Opry. I'm sure that's a popular answer. And then to travel to and to play, or just for leisure, I would love to go to Australia. So,
ooh, I like that. You've done a few Australian artists too. I may have somebody I can hook you up with too. There's a good friend of mine over there. She's at the top of her game with country music. I might just give her a call and say, hey, I got somebody in Nashville that wants to come over there and play a little bit. So fantastic artist. Her name is Haley Jensen. She's a fantastic country music artist and has won every award to put on her mantle. She showed me a picture of a mantle one time. I saw all the trophies just go right across everything she had done over there. So I'll get you in touch with Miss Haley Jensen. She's on top of her game in that beautiful country of Australia too. All right. So I want to do a couple more favorite cartoon or movie, or I guess if there's multiple ones, cartoon or movies growing up, what would they be for Sarah?
Just cartoons include Disney princesses?
Everything, anything.
I guess Beauty and the Beast, that was always my favorite one growing up.
All right. Other movies?
Yeah, definitely a lot of Disney ones. I'm trying to think what other like cartoon ones there were. Loved like Spider-Man growing up.
Okay. Which is always a good one out there too, no doubt. All right, dream duet or to record a song with, who would you pick?
Let's see. It's probably between either Jewel or Carole King.
Can't go wrong with either choice.
Yeah.
No, that's right there too. She dropped the hammer. And I tell you what, she's dropping this great music out there too. Whiskey Histories across all the platforms out there for your listening pleasure. Album she did with Christine Bauer, West of Me, is out there. Of course, all the other tunes we had talked about. I'm sure the audience is going to connect with a lot of cool things out there. And check her out at sarahharralson.com. And Sarah, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much for sharing it with us today, and looking forward to hearing some big things for you down the road here in 22 as we get into the meat and potatoes part of this year, and of course and even 23 next year. This is your dream. I love it. I love the story, and just appreciate you being on. Hope you had a great time.
I did. Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Again, we're going to be having fun in Nashville, 5 Point Pizza, and of course some other restaurants Sarah recommended here in a few weeks. February 23rd to 25th at CRS in Nashville. Again, John Barry, Craig Campbell, and the band Exile, and Dallas Remington, and a whole lot more. Some great artists are going to drop by. And I got a call today from Kelly Tucker, Tanya Tucker's niece. She's going to fly in, and hopefully we'll be able to get her back on the show and do some things. Jesse G is going to hang out and a whole lot more. And Sarah, if you're in town, swing on by and we'll do something offsite there for February 23rd to 25th. Thanks so much for being with us. We're not done for the day. Elise Saunders is going to drop by. And then, of course, I don't know what tomorrow brings. We'll have to figure it out, see what's on the show tomorrow. Thanks to Bangtail Whiskey, of course, MitchMax.com and Hank Jr. Productions. We'll see you guys here in just a little bit, top of the hour, with Canadian country artist Elise Saunders on the Backstage Pass, for Jeff Kirsty and Karen, the entire team, we'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.